Test 1 2, test 1 2. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Preston Sports Podcast. We had football. Today is Saturday night, so we had football 2 nights ago. Thursday night football, it was Cowboys-Bucks. What a phenomenal game that was. I'm going to go over that more on, I believe it's going to be Tuesday's episode, or maybe I'll do one Monday as like a recap. It was a great game. I was wrong with my predictions. I predicted the Bucks would score 31. Did not predict the Cowboys would keep it so close. But like I said, I'll talk more about that later. So today, obviously, week 1 started on Thursday, but the most of it is tomorrow. And so, I'm going to share my top 5 games, the games I am most interested in, and the games I'm most excited to watch tomorrow. Before I get into that, make sure you like, subscribe, boop the notification bell, and do all those things. We've been killing the podcast recently. I'm super hyped for the start of the season. I think this is going to be an awesome NFL season, and I think this is going to be the biggest opportunity for channel growth that I've had ever, because I started in between seasons. But yeah, let's just hop right into it. Coming in at number 5, this was a game I was not interested in at all until a couple days ago. And it's going to be Ravens-Raiders Monday Night Football. Now, I am not interested in it because I'm a Browns fan and I want to see the Ravens lose. I'm not interested in it because I think it will be a good game. It might be a good game, but the reason I am excited for this game is I want to see how the Ravens play. Putting my bias aside, I am a fan of good football, and what the Ravens play a lot of is good football. They run the ball very well. They are very effective defensively, mattering not who they play on defense. Now, the injuries that have happened to the Ravens recently, I talked about it a little bit last episode. Marcus Peters and Gus Edwards recently both tearing their ACLs on back-to-back plays. But even going beyond that, Gus Edwards tearing his ACL, Justice Hill tearing his Achilles, Rashad Bateman's on IR for I think it was a quad injury, maybe it was a groin injury. Excuse me. They've had injuries all preseason, all camp really. And I am very interested to see with the team that remains how well they perform on Monday Night Football. It's a big stage. Lamar is going to have to carry the team, not only as a runner, but the passing game is going to have to flourish. You're not going to have that ability, that threat of the run. Obviously, Lamar is a threat to run, but you're to the point where I think the starting running back will be Latavius Murray. Latavius Murray, in my personal opinion, is not a top 32 running back. I mean, I guess you can maybe make the argument that he is, but should he be starting in this league? It is iffy at best. Maybe he'll emerge as a top 10, top 15 running back. We'll see. But yeah, Ravens-Raiders. That is a game I'm very interested to see. Not only what they do offensively, but how that secondary looks without Marcus Peters. Whenever Marcus Peters was traded to the Ravens from LA, I believe, there was an immediate difference in that team and how well they were playing. Or that defense, rather, and how well they were playing. Plus, they lost Matthew Judon and Yannick Ngakoue in free agency. They retained the interior of the defensive line. They drafted Adofte Owe, otherwise known as Jason Owe, in the first round to be an edge rusher. But really, he has no football ability. He's just a freak athlete. But I trust the Ravens to develop him as a pass rusher, or maybe even as a stand-up linebacker. I think this defense has potential to fall off. If the Ravens keep getting hurt the way they are, it is possible they will miss the playoffs. The AFC is just so loaded right now that you add insult to injury on the Ravens, literally insult to injury, they might just miss the playoffs because of how competitive the AFC is. You're looking at, in the AFC North alone, right now, this is the Browns' division to lose. The Browns have to be the favorite at this point to win the division because of all the serious injuries. It's not just, people have torn their ACLs, second string, third string, fourth string guys. It's starters. 21 days ago, 3 weeks ago, the 3 running backs that were on the first 3 on their roster are all 3 out for the season. They're signing the 2016 standout team with Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman. So I'm very excited to see. Plus, the Raiders, I like the Raiders. I like a lot of the players. I'm interested to see how they do this year. Going to game number 4. I have the Colts and the Seahawks. I'm excited about this game because I'm a big defender of Carson Wentz. I mean, you look at it. In 2019, the only reason they made the playoffs was Carson Wentz. The only reason they were in that playoff game for a little bit was Carson Wentz putting everything on the line. You look at this season, 2020. Yes, Carson Wentz had an awful year. But what did he have around him? There was a video released, I believe, by the Vikings where the Eagles drafted, I believe it was Jalen Reagor, and they were laughing at them because that was such an atrocious pick considering Justin Jefferson was the next pick. And even before that, it was J.J. Arcega-Whiteside instead of DK Metcalf. You know, the Eagles have done nothing to support Carson Wentz besides give him a good offensive line. But last year, injury after injury plagued that offensive line. I believe they had like 7, 8, 9 different starting lineups by week 11 or 12 or something like that, which is insane. I think the only team with more was the Cowboys. The Eagles did nothing to help Carson Wentz. And plus, they drafted a quarterback in the second round. Why would you draft a quarterback in the second round if you believe in your guy Wentz? Sure, should that have shaken him mentally? Probably not. But does it make sense that it did? Yes, it makes sense that maybe when there's nothing around you and you're getting pressured within the second of the snap and there's a backup who they just drafted who's ready to take your place, it makes sense that maybe you just have a little mental road bump. That just makes sense. That's basic human nature. You're going to get a little nervous about your job if they take someone in the second round with their second pick in that draft that plays the same position. And plus, we don't even know what Carson was hearing behind the scenes. We don't know what he was hearing inside the building. And so let's just all chill on Carson Wentz. I like the Colts. I like their offense. I like their offensive line especially. I'm a little worried about their weapons. T.Y. Hilton will not play this game, but I'm a big Michael Pittman fan. I love Michael Pittman Jr. He's got great YouTube videos. They're kind of awkward, but you should watch them if you get a free moment. And their defense, gosh. The roads are closed once again. D-Buck is insane. Darius Leonard just got paid. Bobby Okereke is a beast. He's a monster. They drafted Kwity Paye, in my opinion, the best edge rusher in the draft with the first-round pick they had. I think this Colts team is shaping up to be elite. And so a team that is not talked about as potentially being elite is the Seattle Seahawks. I know, they really tailed off at the end of last year. But they also didn't have Chris Carson for a good portion of the year, I believe. If they can get to Pete Carroll's offense, like just run the ball, ground and pound, let Russell Wilson get some play action going, maybe use his mobility, get him out of the pocket, get some PA boots going, use that amazing arm, probably the most accurate deep ball in the league, drop it in a bucket. You got wide receiver like 7'2" in DK Metcalf. You got Tyler Lockett being one of the best slot receivers in the league and a great outside receiver. Who is that guy? Dwayne Eskridge is a guy they took in the draft, and I really like Dwayne Eskridge. I really liked him. And then their defense, Bobby Wagner, one of the best linebackers in the league. They traded for Sidney Jones, and I don't think that move is being talked about enough. Sidney Jones is a really solid. I was trying to find solid and slot. A solid slot corner in the NFL. He's one of the, I'm not going to say one of the best, but one of the better ones in the league. They have Shaquem Griffin still. Right, Shaquem, that's the corner. They don't have him. He went to the Jaguars. Yeah, they're screwed secondary-wise. They have Jamal Adams, who, don't get it twisted, is a good safety. He just kind of had a down year coverage-wise last year. You're not going to be great every year, especially when you're learning a new defense. Let the guy breathe. Congrats to Jamal Adams for getting paid, of course. They traded away Ahkello Witherspoon, I believe. They have, what's his name? Carlos Dunlap. Do they still have Poona Ford? I don't know. I like the Seahawks. Now they're in one of the best divisions of football, so it's going to be a little difficult. But I like the Seahawks. I like what they offer. Speaking of the NFC West, next game, number 3 on my list, is Cardinals and Titans. The reason why I have this game on the list, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it, is I think these are two boom or bust teams. Both made massive moves to improve either side of the ball in the offseason. The Cardinals, obviously they drafted Zaven Collins, but they also signed 3-time Defensive Player of the Year J.J. Watt to play what I think is going to be an interior role. And then the Titans obviously traded for Julio Jones from the Falcons. As far as the Cardinals case goes, Malcolm Butler retired. They signed him and then he retired. And so they're kind of screwed over at corner. Let me actually pull up that depth chart real quick to see if I'm missing anyone. I do like Byron Murphy. I like Marco Wilson. But at the same time, is that enough? Is Marco Wilson enough? Did I say DeMarco Murray? I might have. Cardinals, NFL, ESPN, give me that roster. My allergies have been really bad today, so if you hear me sniffle or suck snot with my nose, please just excuse that. That sounded suck snot. That's what I'm talking about. And now it's loading, and I'm embarrassing myself on a podcast. What else is new as this loads in? Okay, so Byron Murphy, Robert Alford, Marco Wilson. Yeah, so secondary-wise, now they have Budda Baker. I like Budda Baker. Jalen Thompson, not the best safety in the league. Jordan Phillips is on IR. I didn't even know that. Jordan Hicks is a backup at this point. Now, it should be said, while they're lacking in secondary, their front 7 is quite good. Chandler Jones, Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons, Marcus Golden, J.J. Watt, Rashawn Lawrence, Leki Fotu. I would have kept Hassan Reddick personally, but because they didn't do that, they could get J.J. Watt, which is fine. Isaiah Simmons, I think he's best kind of as a slot overhang defender type role. I think they were trying to give him too much last year, so he had a down year, and people are saying it's a bust. I'm saying it's year 2. Let the man have some time. But yeah, so the Cardinals defensively, or secondary-wise, that would be a good matchup, because you're looking at probably one of, if not the best, wide receiver duos in the league in A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. Now, Julio Jones is 33. Is he still Julio Jones? We don't know yet. But they have nothing defensively. They lost Malcolm Butler in free agency to the Cardinals, who then retired. They have Janoris Jenkins. They drafted Caleb Farley. Now, Caleb Farley, I'm worried about. He had back injuries. He was supposed to be probably the first corner taken, and he wasn't because of those back injuries. He fell all the way to 22, I believe, where the Titans picked him. I'm just worried about him. And Jackrabbit, he's not like he was in New York. He's just older, lost a step. I believe Kevin Byard is still on the team. I think it's a Manny Hooker is the safety for the Titans now, which I don't necessarily love. And then they have no pass rush. I know they signed Bud Dupree, but he's coming off an ACL tear. And is he going to be the same guy whenever TJ Watt's on the other side of him? I don't think so. They do have Harold Landry, who I like a lot as an edge. But I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about the Titans or the Cardinals, honestly. I love K1, love D-Hop. But I think this will be a good game to watch, but I think both these teams are leaning towards more the bust side for me. Number 2, Steelers-Bills. Good rematch from last year. I like the Week 1 opening. Now, the Bills, they have to win this game. If they lose to the Steelers, they're going to... Hey, is Josh Allen legit? Are the Bills legit? They lost to the Steelers. Remember, they went 1-5 to end the year. On the other hand, the Steelers need to win the game. They were embarrassed. They went 11-0 last year, and like I said, went 1-5 in the following 6 games. Their one win being against Indianapolis, and then they lost in the playoffs big time to the Browns at home nonetheless. So the Steelers, this is a big game for them. Even if they can hang and be competitive, what they're looking for is a couple things. How is that defense looking? How's that opposite edge? Offside TJ Watt, it's probably going to be Alex Highsmith. How's that looking? Is the defense, were they just tired at the end of last season, or is there something wrong? Are they able to play? Are they able to play well? And then offensively, what's up with Ben? Did he just, same thing? Did he just get tired, trail off at the end of last year, or is his arm really dead? Offensive line, can we run the football? Is Najee Harris it? Was he worth the 22nd overall selection? Is our offensive line it? Are our coaches working hard? And even though we don't have the biggest named players, we don't have the best players in the league, are they able to at least get some blocks so Ben has time in the pocket, or Najee Harris can get a little bit of run game going? I think this will be a really good matchup, but I do think the Bills will sneak away with the win. I don't think the Steelers are really that competitive this year. And this should not be any surprise, but my number one most anticipated matchup for Week 1, September 12th at 3:25 Central Standard Time, coming all the way from Cleveland, Ohio to Arrowhead Stadium. We're talking about the Cleveland Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs. I am so excited for this game. This is going to be my favorite game of the season if we win, and my least favorite game of the season if we lose. We lost back in January 17th. Similar time, about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Game started in Arrowhead. Game started fast. Patrick Mahomes scored a touchdown. Took us a second offensively to get started. Second half hit. We hit the ground. Not running. Baker throws an interception, but we hold them. They kick a field goal. Goes wide. They don't make it. Patrick Mahomes goes out. Offense explodes. The game becomes a lot more competitive. On a lucky scramble, Chad Henne barely gets off 4th and inches. Actually, they call a play instead of faking the hard count or faking the snap with a hard count. Throw the ball to Tyreek, get a first down, ice the game. My boys are coming. We're playing angry. We're going to play some good football tomorrow. I bet you're going to see it. Myles Garrett's going to have 2 sacks. Jadeveon Clowney is going to have at least 2 tackles for loss. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to rack up 4 tackles on the day. John Johnson's going to play lockdown defense. Denzel Ward, you're going to see the best rookie cornerback in the draft in Greg and Newsome. The steal of the draft in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Malik Jackson, Andrew Billings, setting up that eats inside. You're going to see the return of Malik McDowell, a 2017 second-round draft pick from Seattle. Went to jail, came back, made an NFL roster in his first season back. Offensively, you're going to see blocks. Chris Jones on the edge? Nah, just stick Jedrick Wills on him. He's no game. Nuh-uh, not playing. Might as well not. Tyrann Mathieu just got off the COVID list today, actually. He's going to be tired. He's going to be huffing puffing on the sideline. Bam! What's that? Odell Beckham Jr., 75-yard touchdown. I'm calling it right now. Odell will have a 75-yard touchdown at some point in this game. Coming off an ACL tear. Baker Mayfield's going to go 22 for 29. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Book it right now. 22 for 29. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm not going to guess yards. That's way too random. Okay, that was just me getting hyped. Realistically, this is going to be an offensive shootout. I've talked to a lot of people about this, and the way I see this game, the Browns can run the ball and pass the ball. Browns can run the ball and pass the ball. Chiefs can pass the ball, kind of run the ball. Chiefs can pass better than the Browns can pass. Browns can run better than the Chiefs can run. Browns' offensive line is better. Chiefs' offensive line is new. They have 3 rookies running on one side. And so the way I see this game, it's going to come down to whose defense is going to make more plays. Now, you have a defense in the Chiefs whose personnel isn't as good, but is a very opportunistic defense. They take opportunities whenever they're presented. The Browns, however, almost an entirely new defensive unit from last year. Can they be as opportunistic? I really don't know. I won't know till about 4 o'clock tomorrow. I'll let you know. This is a game, realistically, people will say, oh, the Chiefs will win. Why? Because it's the Chiefs. Looking at it from an unbiased perspective, I cannot say the Chiefs will 100% win this game. Now, the Chiefs are the favorite. They should be the favorite. I think this will be a good game. It will be a good measuring stick for where the Browns are at. I can't. So I don't know if this is just me being biased, but I can't honestly say the Chiefs would win when you just look at the teams and put them next to each other. You go coach, give it to the Chiefs. Andy Reid's one of the best of all time. Quarterback, give it to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback. Running back, and I'm talking rooms, so Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams, going down the depth chart. Running back, give it to the Browns. Wide receiver, give it to the Browns. I know Tyreek Hill is better than Odell right now, but then you go to Mecole Hardman. Is Mecole Hardman better than Jarvis Landry? No. Is Mecole Hardman better than Odell? No. I would say Rashad Higgins is better than Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman's just fast. You go down the wide receiver room, and we have so much more depth than they do. Tight end, same thing. Obviously, Travis Kelce, best tight end in the league. But when you go down the room, we go 3 deep. They go really 1 deep. Offensive line, Browns is better. You go to the defense, the defensive line, Browns is better. Linebacker core, Browns is better. Cornerbacks, Browns are better. Safeties, Browns are better. Everywhere you go besides quarterback and head coach, and let's say give them tight end too, there's 3 instances where the Chiefs are better than the Browns. Now, that does not mean the Browns will win. That just means the Browns have a better roster. And a better roster just gives you a better chance to win. I trust the coaching of Kevin Stefanski. I trust Joe Woods and AVP. I think the Browns, I'm not going to say they will win. I think they have a really good shot. And I think people are kind of selling them short because they're playing the Chiefs. You know what? Screw it. No, Browns are going to win. 100%. I think the Browns are going to win tomorrow. And if they don't, they don't. That's tough. But I guess I'm going to end it there. Yeah, Browns will win. I'm going to say 31-21. Browns are going to win. Yeah, that is it for today's episode. Book it. Browns 31, Chiefs 21. 0-1. Or excuse years of a Browns fan have conditioned me 1-0 to start the season. That is going to be it for this episode of the Preston Sports Podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you have a great Sunday watching football. Super excited to be back. Don't forget again, like, subscribe, boop the notification bell, and I will talk to all of you guys on Monday or Tuesday, depending on whenever I do. Peace out. Have a nice night.